Hello guys, my name is Matty Green and this is my college game review of Saints Row the Third. I hope you guys enjoy, and just remember this is my first game review, but I appreciate constructive feedback, so please feel free to comment and subscribe if you enjoy. First of all, I'd just like to talk about the intro. Just a brief introduction. I've just completed Saints Row the Third recently and really enjoyed it, possibly one of my favourite from the series, with thousands of weapons and vehicles at your disposal and a giant sandbox playground of destruction. What's not to like? First of all, I would just like to talk about the visual style of the game. You have the world. Saints Row the Third is set in a fictional city called Steelport, which is a cartoon-style environment. Skyscrapers and buildings have bright neon lights shining off them that helps brighten the game up. Down on the streets you have the dark alleys and graffiti spray painted walls in the more lower class side of the district, whilst more in the business class you have more bright and modern buildings. Next of all is the characters. The NPCs in the game, such as enemies and teammates, work very well because of their mechanics, such as walking up to an enemy and saying offensive words to them so that they react and start trying to kill you. If your teammates see that you're under fire and of need of assistance, the game has programmed them to come and assist you straight away, which quite frankly I think is a very good mechanic of the game. Next I want to talk about is the audio. The game opens up with a Star Wars like mission statement, which gives me anticipation, feeling, and eager to get straight in the game. Just as the game opens up, also another opening scene is quite horrific, where you see Pierce getting attacked by a group of thugs brutally, which makes you feel, well, makes me feel quite scared to see what happens to him and see what's to come. Next of all, I want to talk about today is background and ambient noise. You have the vehicles, the city traffic, the rain, the NPC, and the sirens, which I noticed. The rain has no effect on the game, how your player or other NPCs react. The weather condition mechanics makes no difference to the mechanics of the game. Fire coming off objects or vehicles, the more closer you get, the clearer the ambient sound gets. So, say distance-wise, you can hear it, the fire more clearly than what you can from a further distance away. The background and ambient noise helps during gameplay to understand your surroundings in more depth and hear where more threats are going to be close by. The sound effects, gunshots, shattering glass, NPCs, weapons, explosions, nature sounds. Whenever playing this game, when firing your weapons, you can hear the gun recoil and the sound of the flesh getting punctured by your bullets, as well as bullets shattering windows and penetrating walls. If you're on an NPCs, decide to throw a grenade or shoot a tank missile, the explosion works like an ambient sound. The closer you are to the explosion, the better you can hear it, as well as the animation. Next, I'd like to talk about the genre. The genre of Saints Row the Third is action. The conventions clearly show it's an action game, shown by the weapons at your disposal, explosions, and all-out chaos. If Saints Row the Third was to turn into a first-person survival horror, I think it would make no difference to the fact it's got gang and crime side of the game, proven by Saints Row the Fourth, which was just recently released. They can get away with pretty much anything because they are that creative. Um, Obviously, they've got the superpowers and all that in the Saints Row 4, which kind of completely makes the game go over the top, but hey, it's good. Gameplay, you've got the single player and the multiplayer. With this game, the single player element and multiplayer both cross paths with the game feature. Cooperative play, which allows you and your friends and other online users to join your world and vice versa to battle it out together and take over Steelport. The story behind it, the narrative, the approaches, the path your character leads throughout the game is vengeance for what had happened to his crew member Johnny Gat, which if you're a fan you'll all know from the previous games. Throughout the game you can make different choices, but this barely has an impact on the story, normally just respect and cash situations. The only choice that really impacts the story that I noticed is on the last level where it alters the end, which makes the game worth replaying. Obviously I'm not going to get into that too much because it would be a major spoiler. There's also a choice at the end of the act which doesn't make much of a difference, again mainly just for cash or respect. That's during the first act. Again, spoilers, so I'm not going to say. Challenges. I didn't really find the game itself challenging. It was all aimed for players to have fun, and as you progress through the game and earn cash and respect, you buy upgrades which eventually fully upgrade all your weapons and vehicles, and it's basically cheats such as infinite bullets and no fall damage. Most missions don't really put up much of a challenge because even if you don't have any ammo or your character is like a beast and very overprotective. Rewards you can get such as upgrades, bonuses, weapons, cash, vehicles. Each of these are earned by completing missions and activities. Upgrading your weapons, I would say, is very good to start off with, because the more you upgrade, the more powerful your weapons get and the more ammo you can conserve in them. Cash, you can buy out extort different businesses, which I really like, because it gives you that more like boss kind of feeling, which is the game is meant to make you feel like anyway. Structure, you've got missions, you've got activities, you've got shop robberies, drug dealing, you've got different cribs that you can unlock. Personally, I just like going in extorting businesses and whacking people over the head with dildos, but never mind, everyone has their own taste. Difficulty, you have easy, medium, hard. Pretty much it doesn't really matter what difficulty you do it on. I only really noticed much of a challenge near the end of the game, where you had several hundreds of thousands of bloody NPCs coming at you from all different angles trying to kill you. Whereas the activities and the mission side of it, activities I would actually honestly say are probably harder than the missions. I mean, there's even a point where you've got an escort a tiger in your passenger seat where it's clawing you to death and you're trying to avoid the paparazzi, which that just got well over the top for me, but it was very enjoyable. Lastly, what I would want to talk about is the game mechanics. I think they work very well with the game. I personally love the ragdoll mechanic, which when your players run over or caught an explosion, their body goes flying, and it's just hilarious to watch. But thank you very much, guys. This was my first review, first of many, I hope. I hope you really enjoyed it. Yeah, peace.